second. There is a case to be made for some kind of a pre-investigation by the police or by an expert's body to have some kind of a preliminary investigation before filing dowry harassment cases, so as to prevent any of these frivolous complaints, because ultimately this can be devastating for families, for children most of all, and for the individuals concerned. So why don't we have that kind of a mechanism of having some kind of a preliminary investigation before a 498A case is registered, and before, of course, any kind of penal action is taken against
there is a preliminary
the accused
investigation
person,
which is conducted. That is what I was talking about, the Arnesh Kumar judgment. After that, there is a preliminary investigation that is conducted before actually filing this case. I'd like to introduce another point about the responsibility of the police, who are actually, I've said it in other debates and I've said it a lot of times even in court, that, the police seem to specialize in terrorizing the men whilst they register a case of 498A. What they do on a Friday night, you will get a notice that you will be arrested within 48 hours or you have to be present before the police station. So on Saturday and Sunday, the poor men are running to try and get bail. The police also, when I said the police also have an active role in this, why can't you actually pull up even the corrupt police officers or the officers who are indulging in this kind of behavior and say, all right, you can give a notice on a Monday. He has 48 hours to apply for bail.
Let me ask Deepika Narayan Bharadwaj on this. The case that people are making for gender neutral legislation, current laws, the one section feels tend to favor women when it comes to domestic violence and dowry cases. And this could lead to situations where men are unfairly targeted. So therefore, some legal experts like yourself have been talking about gender neutral legislation. The problem, ma'am, is that, as I said earlier, two things. One, the NCRB crime data is very, very clear that the number of women who either commit suicide or are killed for dowry demands, etc., far outnumber the number of men. This is NCRB data that's been put out there. And two, as a social practice, dowry has almost always been asked of the bride and the bride's family and not of the groom's family. So that's the reason why we have the dowry harassment against dowry prevention section of 498A. So how do you justify then having gender neutral laws when society itself is not neutral towards the woman? It's not an equitous where both men and women are equal. It is fairly stacked up and loaded against women. That's why you have 498A.
Well, Zaka, tell me one thing. The countries that have gender neutral provisions, have we looked at the statistics over there? There are decent number of women who perpetrate domestic violence. There are decent number of women who are perpetrators of spousal murder. There are decent number of women who are perpetrators in sexual abuse cases. We do not have any mechanism as of now in 2024 in a country of 1.4 billion where we can assess how many men are suffering. What are you comparing the data with? Yes, there are women who are suffering, but how do I bring you the data of men who are suffering? Because there are no laws that they can register their complaints under. So it is not a fair comparison, Zaka. If you're talking about how many men are victims of cruelty, 498A can be filed only by a woman only, a married woman only. A married man, even if he is beaten up every day, day in, day out. And let's come to Atul Subhash's case only. According to him, his wife was demanding 50 lakhs from him in order to settle the career of a brother. Now, will you not call this dowry if this was a demand made by a husband to his wife? Could Atul register a case of 498A against his wife? No.
No. One second. I just want to clarify for our viewers. Right? This is an allegation he made. We don't know what the wife's side of the story is.
There are recorded transactions, white transactions of transfer of money from him to her that he has left evidences of. Of course, the investigation agencies are going to basically look into that, Zaka. But I will come to one more point, Zaka. You were saying that, why have no changes been made or anything like that. I would like to tell the audience here, in 2015, after the case of Arnesh Kumar judgment in 2014, after Supreme Court saying so many times that, the families are being harassed in 498A and everything. In Rajesh Sharma judgment, the Supreme Court said, please club these cases, have family welfare committees set up so that serious cases of crime against women versus these frivolous cases of incompatibility or any other reason of marriage breaking down that is converted into a 498A can be differentiated. There can be fairness. And they said paralegal volunteers, wives of retired army officers are going to be a part of this family welfare committee. The women's rights activist appealed that judgment, and then that judgment was scrapped. So you do not want any change to come in the system. You have 498 in 1983, then you have a Domestic Violence Act in 2005, you have 125 CRPC, now you want the marital rape case provision also to come. So the man can just only be a perpetrator and keep on facing one after the other, one after the other, one after. How many cases can a normal human being file?
Deepika, is it your case that 498A cannot then be filed by the police? There has to be some kind of a mechanism where somebody looks at the case and comes to a preliminary judgment or a preliminary understanding that yes, this case merits 498A, otherwise 498A is being misused. Is that, are you saying that there has to be some kind of, a preliminary inquiry mechanism or a board or something that looks into the case before 498A can be applied?
What I'm saying, Jaka, is this man has died a very painful death. He wants justice for himself, just like the country outraged in 2012 for Nirbhaya. The country is outraging right now for justice for men. There needs to be a committee set up as soon as possible. I am not a lawmaker. I am not going to tell you what is going to bring a solution, but we need a solution. And that is very evident with the outpour of emotions and feelings of thousands and lakhs of families of men today. Why isn't the parliament, why not even one member of parliament has spoken anything about this in the parliament?
So let me
Why
let me
no
ask
arrest has been
Vandana
made
Shah,
till now 4 days?